So like you mentioned that like 70% of women, and especially if they are women and color and minority group, most likely we have imposter syndrome. What was your experience and observation of women who has the imposter syndrome? Like how did they manifest and what's their impact that you've seen?
Yeah, again, this isn't talked about much, right, Hojung? So
Mhm,
it's all through observation.
mhm,
It's all through, a personal journey of recognizing and understanding it that I have been able to be more empathetic and connect to folks who have exhibited those similar kind of like symptoms, if you may.
mhm,
Um, but I think the most common thing that I see in women leaders at work with imposter syndrome is one, they shy away from
mhm,
sharing their ideas in meetings
mhm,
or in any discussion, and they don't put themselves up for promotion. And I think these problems are actually pretty systemic, and they're adding to the more systemic problem of the broken and, forget leaky, but like broken pipeline of, management promotions.
mhm,
And let me give you an example. Actually, I was in one of the previous companies that I'd worked at. I was part of an exec review where we were looking at, the candidates in all of our teams who had to be promoted from manager to director. We were 1,000-person team. We had approximately 40 percentage, female representation. So a pretty large number of, women actually did work in our organization at various levels. But the discussion for that manager to director promotion, there was not a single female name.
mhm,
And I remember, walking out of that meeting, and then actually knowing that 1/3 of the men who actually were in that list to be promoted had actually put themselves up for it. So not a
mhm,
single woman had put herself up for it, even though we had female managers,
mhm,
and nobody had also put women up for the promotion. So
mhm,
it was a double-sided problem. I remember Hojung feeling so confused and enraged at
mhm,
what was happening. But I think this is, and I don't believe I'm alone in this. I think
mhm,
we have, as female executives, been in many performance discussions where, there is obviously stereotyping in terms of how women are evaluated, but also there just are not enough names.
mhm,
Even though there are possibly enough, women, we probably always need more at the junior and mid-management level, but are
mhm,
not breaking through and getting to that executive level. And I wish I could go to every single woman manager on that team and say, hey,
mhm,
in the next 6 months, like put your name up. And I wish I could do something like that. But
mhm,
um, I think this is a problem that we're actually facing, which is just the fact that, the pipeline is extremely broken. And if we really want women in more executive roles, we
mhm.
have to find a way to, one, normalize this discussion and allow people to be able to express themselves so that women feel comfortable enough putting themselves up for a promotion. And what I saw in that previous company was, pretty confusing and enraging for me, as you can imagine.
Mhm. Definitely. I definitely experienced a similar thing too. That's why I always thought like women leaders' responsibility to like promote women is very important. Because as a manager, like when I pick like who should be promoted, a lot of men they say like I think I'm ready for the promotion, and I'm thinking nah, not quite ready. But women they never say it. I have to tell them I think you're ready, and they're like I'm not sure. Like no, you are ready. So I did notice that too. So when there is like a women leader who recognize women are ready, that's good. But what if they don't have that? They
Yeah,
still need to be able to recognize and push out for.
yeah,
So that is also my challenge too. Like
yeah.
how about all the women who doesn't have those people around them to see their potential?
Yeah.
What can they do? Yeah.
Um, that's a great point. I mean, if you have a female leader that you feel connected to, you should
Mhm,
obviously, talk to them and,
mhm,
not talk to them about, hey, do I want to put up my name or not, but like talk to them about what is that process? What does that
right.
entail? You know, I did not realize that 1/3 of the men had actually put themselves up. And so if that is, something that is expected out of that, that pipeline, then we need more women at the forefront to be able to do that. But the fact of the matter is that there are fewer and fewer women in the executive, in the board level ranks. Things are definitely changing, but if you read the latest report too, the numbers aren't changing that dramatically, that we're nowhere next to, parity, putting it that way. So women have to, do this for themselves. And so I go back to being self-aware of your strengths, of your opportunities, recognizing imposter syndrome, but at the same time, having the discussion in terms of what you would like to achieve from a career standpoint is, I think, so critical, in discussions. And women should be sharing more in discussions. Like, I almost never have big meetings right now because I can almost, in the list of attendees, say who are the 2, 3 people that are going to dominate the discussion. And I wish I could have, and I wish I could say, you know what, this woman or this female would actually dominate the discussion. That has actually been completely the exception than the rule. So I'd love to get to a place where, I'd like to believe that this is an equal opportunity, across the board. So women should step up and share their ideas in discussions, in meetings, in water cooler conversations. Like, that's the first step to getting noticed, before you put yourself up for promotion, for instance.
Definitely. I think also the earlier point you made about having the right support network, the people who sees your potential and value and keep them around you, will also help you to see what is your true value is and have more confidence in speaking up in those situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just on the other side of things, there were a couple of women in, and product leaders at the company that I'd worked for previously who, even though we did not work directly with one another, reached out and established a connection with me. And there were others that didn't, for whatever reason. When it comes to possibly like a performance evaluation or something, when a few of us executives are pouring over some information, who do you think I would have a connection with? Right? So, so I think it's very important to use the resources that you have right now, to your point, Hojung, and just see who your advocates can be in just the environment that you're working with. Introduce yourself, present some new ideas, start the conversation of like developing the relationship. And if there is imposter syndrome in terms of something that's telling you, oh, I'm not good enough, that person's not going to listen to me, what is the worst that can happen if you go and approach them? That person might say that they don't have the time. So that's not on you, it's on them. So I would say, just take that first step, women at work. Go reach out to that female executive. Go reach out to, and I'm not just saying female executive, any executive that you feel like you can establish a relationship with, who can, in very direct and indirect ways, advocate for you. And don't let your imposter syndrome stand in the way of that.
Absolutely. And I actually heard from a lot of women leaders that the mentors who actually saw the potential in them and helped them to grow a lot are male managers. So it's not just about
Absolutely.
male versus female. It's about
Not at
people
all.
who sees your potential and support you.
I completely agree. I completely agree. I think we should give everybody the benefit of doubt, especially men at work who also have a lot of challenges coming into work, being the, breadwinner for the family. These are challenges too that men face. And so just being cognizant of the fact that, their challenges might be something else and different. But yes, just managing your imposter syndrome and doing it, reaching out in a way that is natural to you, I think will be very effective for women at work.
Absolutely.